and welcome to Inner Circle Guidance. Today we're going to be doing a collective reading, but for those of you who are new to the circle, hello and welcome. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I post new readings every single day. And I'm super excited today because I'm using a deck that I have not used yet in our collective readings. So let's see what the circle needs to know today. We have the Knight of Cups. We have the Six of Wands. We have Moonchild. We have the Ace of Swords. We have Death. We have the Three of Swords on the bottom of the deck. This is an interesting reading because, well, first off, we have the Moonchild card, which is a card that's specific to this deck and not part of the original tarot. The other thing that's interesting here is there's a lot of full moons that are present in these cards. We have one over here. We have this one in the Moonchild, and then we have this one on the Six of Wands. I'm getting kind of two messages here. Between now and the next full moon, which I believe is around July 20th or 21st, something like that, I'm seeing that there's going to be a new awakening and a shift that's going to happen, a transformation. But what I'm really seeing is that this is more of a transformation in your state of consciousness. This could have to do with the way that you think and the way that you process information, because we have a lot of swords on the table. And this also has to do with passion, because we have wands and we have the Knight of Cups on the table. A lot of you are in a very creative state at this time. Now, when I say creative, I mean two things. For some of you, that's a literal interpretation of being a creative artist. For others, I'm specifically referring to your divine creativity, your divine power of creation. So essentially your manifestation ability. And what I'm seeing here is a lot of you have been in this sort of transitory phase where you may not be starting a whole new chapter per se in your journey or in your life, but you're at a stage where you're in the process of birthing something. And if we kind of go by the last couple of readings even, a lot of you have been going back and forth with certain ideas. You've been trying to figure out certain things. There seems to be this sort of consistent energy here of everybody in the collective right now and everybody in the inner circle being in the process of manifesting something. But what's interesting here is that with the Knight of Cups, this is something that feels very dreamlike. This is something that a lot of people are going to tell you is unrealistic or is too grand or that the odds are stacked against you. And I'm very much picking up on this energy of you being very stuck in the dream state and like in love with whatever it is, but not quite knowing how to take it from the dream state to the physical reality. And a lot of you are receiving a lot of input from the people around you where a lot of people don't really think you're being realistic, or they don't really think that you're going to be able to accomplish whatever it is that you want, or they think that it's not a rational choice. Because I'm seeing that whatever you're looking to do is something that either you are a first person in your circle or in your family to do it, and or it's something that is quite large or quite extravagant, or maybe statistically and whatever is unlikely or is less likely to happen. But what I'm seeing here is that in the past, you've always had these dreams, you've always had these visions, these fantasies, and a lot of you may be drawn to specifically like fantasy type content, or that could be why you're drawn to things, say like tarot or divination or things like that. But this particular thing is something that you're trying to figure out how to make it a reality. A lot of people don't understand that because you may be first, or because it is something that a lot of people think is impossible or whatever. But what I'm seeing is that in the past, you did allow a lot of those disappointments and things to kind of get in your way. You kind of allowed people to talk in your ear, to put you down. You didn't have the same amount of self-worth and things as you have now. So I'm seeing that that was a heavy influence. You didn't feel worthy of the dreams that you had. You didn't feel worthy of stepping into your power, of truly being seen and heard for who you really are. You saw a lot of what sets you apart from other people as weaknesses instead of strengths, or you would play small and hide because you were too afraid to stand out from the crowd. And what I'm seeing is that you've changed the narrative that you have in yourself. You're stepping more into your power. You are more confident in who you are, and you are more in love with who you are. And that's changing the way that you're not only manifesting things, but you're changing the way that you view your disappointments and things from the past. You're starting to take some accountability here for some of the things that you didn't take accountability for in the past, and you've released certain things that were not yours to carry. Now, what I'm seeing here with the Six of Wands is this energy that you're stepping into is helping you achieve some sort of major success. Now, this could be by the next full moon, like I said, because we have a lot of full moons moving forward here. And if you'll notice in this card, it's not a full moon. So I'm also getting that there's a revealing that's happening here. And that's also very prevalent with the Ace of Swords, because the Ace of Swords is cutting through truth. It's like having a major epiphany, or it's something being revealed. What I'm seeing is that this next month is going to be important to the revealing of certain things that have to do with your dreams, and also have to do with this process I've been talking about of turning your pain and disappointment into wisdom and strength. A lot of you, I'm hearing, also sort of rejected the pain and rejected your situations from the past, and you never really used it as fuel for your passions, or you never used it in a way that amplified your energy. You just sort of avoided it. I'm seeing there's a shift with that happening as well. There's balance that's happening. We have two snakes here that are facing each other, and they're balanced. There's symmetry that's happening here. And then, is this hands? I actually can't tell what that is at the top. From here, it almost looks like arms with wings, or it looks kind of like a flower opening up. I just heard lotus flower. There's a lot of flowers here in the background. So a lot of you are coming into a blooming season. You're coming into bloom, and you are stepping into your power. And there's going to be also a lot more success and recognition for your work. But I'm also seeing that there's going to be a bit more understanding. You're going to be in the spotlight a bit more. Now, with that, with being in the spotlight, that also means there may be more naysayers that you need to ignore. But you also want to make sure that you're staying humble and you're not getting up on a high horse with your ego. So this is also a card to remember to be balanced, to remember how you got to your accomplishments, and a reminder to be open to receiving new accomplishments and receiving recognition, receiving successes when it comes to your dreams, and support when it comes for your dreams, and for the things that you previously considered to be fantasies turning into reality. And this is a card to make sure that you remember how you got here. I keep hearing that over and over again. That part is really important, and I think for some of you it has to do with this Three of Swords. It's always a little controversial when I say be grateful for your disappointments, be grateful for the negative things in your life. It's not that I'm saying be grateful for them or for the people who hurt you, but grateful for the wisdom and the lessons and the strength that you had. It's about you. It's not about what the other person did. It's not about negating the bad things that have happened to you, or negating the accountability for the people who did wrong to you. It's about release, and it's about stepping into your power and recognizing that despite all of these things, you're still worthy. And these things don't define you, and don't define your future, and don't define your present. It's more about that. So with that, I'm seeing that there's balance coming in with that, and using these things that have hurt you in the past to move forward in a positive way. For some of you, you may be mentoring other people specifically. The Moonchild is a card that is specific to this deck. This is similar to like a star seed type of card. This is a card that is asking you to pay attention to the moon phases specifically, to recognize how the different phases may be affecting you. But this is more specifically a card about making sure that you are tapped into your inner wisdom, that you're tapped into the unique relationship that you have with the universe, with your guides, with your spirit team, with your higher self. This is a card that indicates that part of what is going to bring the success, and part of what is going to bring this major breakthrough and is going to bring this transformation is going to be connected to your intuition and your higher self and in your relationship to the universe and your spirit team. This is transformation on a very deep level. This is a very internal kind of transformation that will transform your external world, but the transformation itself is going to happen internally, which is going to mean that this is going to be a big transformation because this is going to be changing the foundations of the way you perceive yourself and the way that you interact with your external world. So this is an important card because this also indicates that this is like doing major shadow work. This is doing major inner internal work and being connected to that and to your really true, authentic soul self. I think that's part of what this Ace of Swords and the Death card are indicating, is that you are finally remembering who you really are and why you're here. Things that have been questioned for some time or have been unclear are going to become very clear. Your purpose, if you've been looking for your purpose, is going to become very clear. The way to turn your dreams, specifically step by step, into a reality is going to become very clear to you. There's going to be a shift that's going to happen. And that means that there's going to be an end to certain things, but there's going to also be new beginnings for certain things. There's a turtle right here that is specifically standing out to me. This is something that you've been working on for a long time, and there's been different stages of it, but this is going to be a large transformational stage. But that also means that with the Three of Swords being on the table, with the Moonchild and the phases of the moon, like the full moon being very important here and being represented in multiple cards, not only are these breakthroughs and things going to be happening by the next full moon, but what's also happening here with the reveal of information and the reveal of your true self is there's going to be some triggers that are going to be coming up here, because there's a couple of things that you may still need to release in order for this to come to full fruition, or for you to really, I guess, finalize things or shift like certain aspects of things. And what's interesting is I didn't even notice there's a big old skull right here. The skull is now standing out to me. So there are going to be certain things that are going to be exiting your life. There's going to be certain things that are going to be healed specifically at this time, but that means that the healing process may be a bit uncomfortable. I'm not really seeing this so much as like this big, huge, horrible, like depressing thing. It's more of, there may be certain days where your patience may get a little bit more tested, or certain things from the past you may be reminded of in some way. If you have a reaction to that reminder, that's going to be an important note on where you stand in that particular issue. It's something to be looked at, essentially. So don't worry, it's not like things are suddenly going to get really difficult, because that's not what I'm seeing here. I'm actually more seeing that there's going to be more clarity and things are going to be getting easier. But with the Death card and with these phases, full moons are all about release. So there's certain things or certain aspects that are going to be leaving your life in this month. I'm not really seeing this as physical things. I'm seeing this more as emotional weight that you've been carrying, burdens that you've been carrying. For those of you, I think I talked about, I don't know if it was this week or last week, but we talked about at some point in one of the readings, I said something about if you've been having back or neck pain out of the blue. For some of you, you're carrying certain burdens physically in your body, even though the thing of the burden may actually be over. And that's going to be pinpointed through this cycle. Anything like that that you've been holding on to that's not serving you is going to be brought to your attention. Anything that needs final healing, anything that needs to be closed out, any tasks you need to finalize, any unfinished business, those things are going to be coming up this month. But it's going to be part of this transformation. It's going to be part of this massive breakthrough. And it's going to change the way you perceive yourself, the way you go about achieving your goals and your dreams. And it's going to help you achieve them in a much bigger, more direct way. Because the problem here that I'm seeing is that in the past, a lot of you had these big dreams, but you weren't the version of yourself at the time in order to fully receive all of that. So a lot of this is about not only releasing, but being open to receive these dreams. And a lot of it had to do with your self-worth. So specifically, for those of you who struggle with that, I would say that if anything comes up that makes you question your self-worth, your self-confidence, your inner self, so self-esteem, self-confidence, self-worth, there's another one that I always reference and I can't remember it at this time, but your inner self. Anything that makes you question that, anything that gets brought up that makes you go, or reminds you of a negative thing in the past, or shows you also how much you've grown from the past is another thing. Because also part of this with the Six of Wands is about recognition and recognizing your accomplishments and your progress. Those are all going to be coming up. So when that happens, you need to acknowledge it. It definitely needs to be acknowledged because the universe is in a state right now where it's helping you do that in a less restrictive, and it's doing it with more ease, and there's more healing and things. The energy is more in a natural state to do that. You're also in a more natural mindset and things to do that than you have been in the past. Before, you've been very resistant to it. So it's important that it's acknowledged. It's important that you take that time. So I'm going to leave the reading here. If it resonated with you, don't forget to like this video and comment your affirmation down below. Your affirmation for this reading is, I am choosing to align to the timeline where I am the version of myself who receives all of my dreams. And as always, may your life be full of light, full of love, abundance, and gratitude. I'll see you next time.